Mom, for New Year, I'm giving you a 2-bedroom apartment, my husband said, smiling like a proud son-in-law as he dangled the keys in front of my mother-in-law. Everyone at the table gasped in delight, except me, because those were the keys to my apartment.
Hi.
My name is Savina Kessler, and I made the mistake of trusting a man who thought marriage meant ownership. That afternoon, I stood frozen in the kitchen, still holding a tray of mini quiches I'd spent all morning making. He didn't even glance my way. My mother-in-law squealed, rushing over to hug him. "You're such a good man. This is what real husbands do," she said, glaring at me as if I were the ungrateful one. I looked around. My parents-in-law, his cousins, even his sister, they were all clapping like this was normal. Like I was just a decorative accessory in their family tree. I wanted to scream, but instead, I calmly placed the tray down, walked to the coat closet, and pulled out the manila envelope I'd been keeping for months. I'd hoped I'd never need it. But today? Oh, today they handed me the reason on a silver platter. And in exactly 20 minutes, the doors would lock. The moment the toast ended, I smiled sweetly and said, "Congratulations, everyone. I'll just step out for a bit." He barely noticed. He was too busy posing for photos with his mom in front of the apartment keys, my apartment keys. I slipped out, got in my car, and drove 3 blocks to the notary's office where I'd scheduled a silent appointment weeks ago. I wasn't paranoid. I was prepared. See, the deed was never in his name. We lived together. But the property? It was my inheritance from my late aunt. I'd kept every document locked, every update quiet. The notary greeted me. "You're sure?" "Yes," I nodded. "Add the clause and process the motion to restrict access." Immediate effect. 30 minutes later, I was back home. They were still drinking champagne. I walked up to him and gently plucked the keys from his mother's hand. "I'll take that back now." "What are you doing?" she barked. I turned to him. "You just gifted my apartment. That's theft, isn't it?" He laughed nervously. "Babe, relax. It's just symbolic. For the family." "Good." Symbolically, I said, "You can sleep outside tonight." And then I turned off the Wi-Fi and locked the door behind me. That night, his mother stood outside the door in her fur coat, shouting, "This is elder abuse. I'm calling the police." I opened the window just enough to reply, "You should. Let them explain how your son gifted property he didn't own." She froze, then left. He stayed, sat on the hallway floor for hours, head in his hands, trying to whisper sweet apologies through the door. But I wasn't listening. I was screenshotting. Earlier that month, he'd texted his sister. "Once she gives birth, she won't care about anything. That apartment's ours. Mom deserves it more." I had everything. The texts, the photos, the symbolic celebration. The next morning, I sent the entire folder to his work email. BCC'd myself. By noon, I got a call from his HR department. "Hi, this is a bit unusual, but we'd like to understand a few things." I simply said, "Please refer to the attached files." No further comment. By 5 p.m., he had no job. By 6 p.m., my lawyer had served him notice. By 7 p.m., he was outside again. This time not with flowers, but with his suitcase. I opened the door just long enough to hand him his charger. "No power left." I asked.
Yeah.
"Sounds about right." 3 days passed. My phone didn't stop vibrating. Voicemails from his mom. "You ruined his life. Do you know what shame you've brought us?" He was only trying to honor me. Honor? By handing her the deed to my apartment, while I was 36 weeks pregnant. My mother-in-law even showed up at my OB appointment. Sat across the waiting room in fake tears, clutching rosary beads. I didn't flinch. She tried intercepting me as I left. "He's depressed," she whispered. "He's not eating." I looked her dead in the eye. "Sounds like a diet plan. I should try it." That night, his best friend, the only one I ever trusted, called me. "I just want to say, I had no idea. What he did, that was messed up. You okay?" I nodded silently through the phone. He added, "He's staying with me, but he's not the same. Keeps saying he thought you'd never leave." I paused, and for the first time, I said it out loud. He thought wrong. I hung up and turned to my laptop. It was time to break another pattern. I wasn't just going to walk away. I was going to make sure he remembered the sound of the door closing forever. By morning, I had done the impossible. I hired a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, but a quiet shark with a soft voice and a memory like a vault. I gave her everything: screenshots, bank records, texts where he joked about giving away the wife's flat. The deed transfer was still in limbo. He had filed it, but it hadn't finalized. That meant we still had a shot. She got to work. Meanwhile, I contacted the building's management. Changed the locks. Updated security codes. Added facial recognition at the lobby, mine only. I even had the nameplate on the door replaced. No longer yours. His mother tried to return that same day. She pressed the buzzer 5 times. When I didn't answer, she shouted, "My son gave me this place. I live here now." I replied calmly through the intercom, "I hope you enjoyed your stay. Checkout was yesterday." She cursed, slammed the gate, and didn't realize her handbag had been caught in the lock. She left without it. I mailed it back with a sticky note inside. Gifts don't come from theft. The apartment was mine again, legally, emotionally, spiritually. But I wasn't done. They hadn't just tried to steal bricks and walls. They tried to steal the home I was building for my child. The next evening, he messaged me, "Can we talk like adults? No drama. Just peace." I read it while sipping tea on my balcony, watching the city breathe. This was the same man who had handed over my apartment like a party favor. But I replied, "Sure. One condition, bring receipts." He showed up with red eyes and trembling hands. Alone. No mother-in-law. No bravado. "I made a mistake," he whispered. "No," I corrected. "You made a decision." Over and over again. He begged for forgiveness, claiming he was pressured, that it was just meant to be symbolic. I slid a folder across the table. Inside were screenshots of every conversation he'd had with his mother about transferring my property, using my maternity leave as leverage, even joking about how emotional moms never see it coming. His face drained. "This is what peace looks like," I said. Full disclosure. Legal action paused for now. But everything is documented. Stored. Protected. I handed him a copy. He nodded stiffly, then turned to leave. "Oh, and one more thing," I added. "Tell your mother the key she had was copied. That's illegal. The police would love a chat." He paused, but didn't turn back. I watched him disappear down the hallway, knowing what came next would break him. On New Year's Eve, I invited my sister and her 2 kids over. My apartment, mine legally again, was warm with laughter and the scent of baked cinnamon rolls. The sound of joy replaced the echo of betrayal. At 11:47 p.m., there was a knock. I opened the door slowly, already knowing. There he stood, my husband, disheveled, hollow-eyed, clutching a bouquet of half-wilted lilies. Behind him, his mother waited in a fur coat 2 sizes too tight, lips pressed thin with pride. Like she hadn't stolen the roof above me. "Please," he said, voice low. "Let's just spend the new year together. Start over." My son peeked from behind me. "Is that the man who gave Grandma our house?" My husband flinched. I crouched to his level and smiled. "Yes, baby. But remember what we said? We don't let people treat us like we're furniture." I stood up, blocking the doorway. "This home isn't yours. Not anymore." And as for starting over, I handed him an envelope, divorce papers, signed, time-stamped, and filed. His mother lunged forward. "You're destroying your family." "No," I said, calm as a winter lake. "I'm protecting it." Then I closed the door. The clock struck midnight behind me. But the real celebration was still ahead. The fireworks outside painted bursts of red and gold across my windows, but inside, the silence felt sacred. My sister poured sparkling cider into glasses while my son danced around in socks 2 sizes too big, giggling. We toasted at midnight, to peace, to freedom, and to never being anyone's second choice again. A week later, I received a letter from the court confirming the finalization of my divorce and the restraining order I'd requested. My lawyer, the same one my ex had mocked during the early hearings, sent a note with a smirk. Happy New Year. You won. My ex-husband moved in with his mother. Turns out the apartment he gave her was never legally transferred. The keys he handed over? Just copies. I'd taken the real ones when I filed the paperwork. She sued him for emotional damage. He lost. A month later, he sent one last message. I thought we were family. I didn't reply because I was busy starting a new job, decorating my real home, and teaching my son that love should never come with threats, manipulation, or eviction notices. We celebrated quietly that year. No flashy gifts. No staged speeches. Just peace, safety, and freedom paid in full.